Well, hey, folks, let's talk about Chad Daybell's book, One Foot in the Grave, for a minute. The Secrets of a Cemetery Sexton. Now, before the world knew this guy as a convicted murderer who's sitting on Idaho's death row, Chad was marketing himself as a small-town storyteller, the guy who, with a shovel in one hand and a ghost story in the other. Well, I'm here in Serbia. This thing has been so distressing to me about this attempt to get people to buy his book that I thought I'd just share with you a few of the reviews that came in when you look at Amazon and Goodreads. So if you're looking at the reviews, you're going to notice something kind of interesting. People either love this book or they absolutely hated it. There wasn't much in between. Now, some earlier readers thought Chad was charming, even funny. One woman wrote that she couldn't put the book down, and she described it like listening to an old friend telling stories over tea. Others said it gave them a fun peek behind the scenes of cemetery life, with those quirky tales of grieving families, restless spirits, and the oddball things people do around graves. A few even called it a little bit educational. And I'm going to let you determine that if you go ahead and buy this thing. But I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to support this guy or anything he does. But then, those are the good reviews. You get the other half of the reviews that are absolutely brutal. Words like boring, waste of time, third grade reading level. One reader flat out said, "Hey, was this self-published? Because it reads like it." Another summed it up in a single word: boring. And remember, these are people who actually like cemetery stories. So the question is, what does it tell us? And to me, it shows a little more of the pattern. And that's what Profiling Evil is all about, is just trying to understand the behavior and the patterns. Chad was already practicing the persona that he's still pushing from behind those prison walls today. The folksy, visionary storyteller. But back then, he was using quirky graveyard tales to build credibility and brand himself as somebody who saw the world a little differently. Today, he's using letters from death row, weaving in ghost stories, religious references, and selective nostalgia to do the very same thing that he was trying to do back then. But here's the kicker. Back then, some readers were buying it. They were laughing, they were crying, they even wanted more in some cases. Others back then were actually seeing right through it. They were spotting the weak storytelling, the lack of depth, the smoke and mirrors. And now, knowing what we know, those early negative reviews actually saw the hollowness before the world saw the horror. So whether you think One Foot in the Grave was entertaining or a waste of paper, or you don't even know, this is important to see what it really was according to people. An early step in Chad Daybell's long game of manipulation. This guy wasn't just telling cemetery stories. He was trying to teach people about how to take him seriously when he talked about the unseen world. And that makes this book less quirky and more of a foreshadowing event of a cult leader in training. And I'd like to know your thoughts. Hey, check out my entire playlist on the Daybells. It comes from the very beginning of the children missing through to the convictions of Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and the victims that those two were responsible for murdering. And as I keep trying to do on Profiling Evil, I want to remind you of who the real people in the story are. The victims of their murders: Charles Vallow, J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, Tammy Daybell, Brandon Boudreaux. These are the people we really should be concentrating on. And while some of you might be a little troubled that I'm giving so much airtime to Chad Daybell and his letters, I hope you recognize that the reason for that is that there's education in understanding how cult leaders work. And this is a textbook in what cult leaders do to groom, manipulate, and maintain followers. Hey, thanks for watching Profiling Evil. We'll see you soon at the next crime scene.